I know you're talking about horror movies and action movies, but have you noticed any additional upcoming trends of movies that are a bit easier to get made?
I mean, the hardest thing to sell is drama, and in the current market, the easier things tend to be the harder things to make. Obviously you have your action, your horror thriller. Rom-coms are still very valuable. Those are a little bit easier. There is a good need for sci-fi films because the studios aren't doing as much of them, so it does create that appetite. But at the same time, they can be a heavier lift to produce and a little bit more costly, so might not be the easiest thing in the world to make. But yeah, I mean, those types of anything in those genre spaces still have those value. Um, the dramas, the kind of the comedies are harder as well. There are instances of breakouts, but we've just seen a lot less traction on that side, in the viewership kind of trends. So it's also ultimately changed how buyers are looking at things.
Interesting. Yeah, I kind of wonder if like a really good drama or like a really good comedy movie are like incredible, right?
Hmm.
But if they're not so good,
Yeah,
like they can kind of fall flat
yeah.
versus like an action or a horror movie is like a bit more like safe or consistent in that regard.
Exactly. Yeah, they tend to fail fast if they're not engaging with audiences. And that's where a lot of the platforms are making their decisions is it's how long people are watching them for. And so, because people get bored very easily or they're more interested in TikTok at the moment. So if it's not something that's keeping their attention and they turn it off, that unfortunately that data does take into consideration, when platforms are looking at films. So yeah, it's just when they're good and it doesn't matter, and they'll find their home. But it's just harder. You've got to really make sure you're knocking it out of the park if you're doing something in those genres.
Yeah, I guess that's like kind of new data, right? Because like back then, like you rented a DVD and they had no idea if you finished it or not.
Never knew. They already bought the movie. It didn't matter. You won. You got the money, and however they watch it or not. But now, yeah, we do get data. We know how many minutes they watch them. At least the platforms do. They might not share it with everybody, but they do take that into consideration.
Huh. Yeah, I guess I never really thought about that, right? Like
Hmm.
that kind of like data analysis is directly influencing the types of movies that are being made.
Yeah.